no, not another mansion. I don't want to go back into that freaky, scary mansion. I wish that stupid Mario was smart enough to not go into a haunted mansion without some sort of warning.
Oh no, not the same old Luigi's Mansion type of story. Well then, there's only one way to stop this irritating story from happening. Again. That's better.
Now, I really enjoyed both Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. But, you know, considering this Thunder compares, and, well, you always know what question will always be asked on here like a billion times. And that is, which of the two do I like? Well, for me, I'd like to say that I like the old one better than the new one. But in Thunder Compares, there's no accusing. In order for me to determine which game do I like the best, I'll go through these 7 categories, and those 7 categories are horror, ghosts, booze, music, and challenges, and the final one being the mansion.
I am the Thunder Mario, and here is Luigi's Mansion versus Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Now, before I get into anything, considering the first Luigi's Mansion did have a huge amount of beta, but did not make it into the final game, I will still be counting towards this because of how I have some footage of the beta itself. But anyways, let's start comparing and get to the first category, which is the horror.
Now, these two games are meant to be horror, so it would make sense to rate the horror of these games. Now, I kinda have to give a point to the original game, because if you look deep into its beta, you can see that there are a lot of things planned that made it seem like you were playing a rated teens game.
Like, imagine Freddy coming out of nowhere while playing this game. Oh gosh, I don't even want to think about it.
But in honesty, even without the beta included, they still made this game to a point where you could have gotten nightmares from this. Like, have you even seen the supposed game over footage that I guess was supposed to be part of when either you died or did not rescue Mario in time? I mean, let me show you that!
Yeah, like, just imagine if my child saw that. Dad, I bet what I'm about to see isn't even scary at all. Son, I mean, you probably gonna get your head chopped off if you see this video. I mean, there are some technical issues, I mean, and possibly you might become stupid in the next 30 years. Pfft, yeah, right, that's not even nothing, Dad. Let me just watch the video. Oh boy. Oh well, whatever. It's not my fault if he gets his head chopped off.
As in for Dark Moon, it tried to get back into the horror feeling, but didn't really seem to feel like you were getting jump scared as much as in this first one. I mean, you really don't have ghosts popping out of nowhere in this game as much as the first game.
Dad! What? What about the scene where King Boo comes out of nowhere in E2? Well, that did kind of scare the balls out of me, but how are you alive? I haven't even gotten married, nor did I ever give birth to you. I don't know, I just got created, I guess. Well, I'm gonna go now, see you later. Okay then. Bye, future child, I guess? Oh my gosh, I wonder who will give birth to him in the next 10 years. Or 20 even. Ugh.
But anyways, enough with all the crazy stuff that goes on like every 2 seconds. I call that the first Luigi's Mansion wins this point.
Now this may seem a little more complicated to actually decide because both games have very well ghosts in them. I mean, there are ghosts that do special attacks that are just scaring you. But and honestly, which game has the best ghosts? In order for me to determine, I must go deep into this. I mean real deep into this. But not literally, that's a bit too far. Now, honestly, I like seeing a lot of different variety of ghosts. I mean, in the first game, we have ghosts that are different colors in which there are also different techniques in terms of beating these ghosts. And there's even ghosts that most of the times just come out of nowhere like a surprise. For example, remember the ghost that always comes out of nowhere from the ceilings and then throws a bomb at you? Let's hope there's not one around my house. What the? I'm okay. But in the second one, there's not really much to say about the ghosts. I mean, for like the first mansion, you basically just fight the first 6 and sometimes other ghosts. And then once you get to the second mansion, you will fight a few more, and then it's just those ghosts for like the whole entire game. Now you can say that there are hard versions of the red, blue, and green ghosts, but they're just the same ones with more health. So honestly, I'm gonna give the first game a point. Now, I will be honest, both games have really great music. I mean, there are even certain musics that can easily make it on my top 25 favorite musics. I just don't listen to them as much, which I kinda wish I did more. Oh, shit! I promise you that is not my favorite song! Heck, even the staff credits in the first game is one of my favorites. But in terms of different types of music throughout the two games, the second game does offer a lot of varieties towards music. Like seriously, have you ever heard the boss battle music to the Haunted Towers? So honestly, the second wins this by a lot. I mean, in the first game, I'm not saying that the music is bad because it's 2001, because if that was the case, then you would see this game getting like 0 points. But honestly, the first one just mainly remixed and changed up the theme to make it seem like a new music, but in honesty, it's just the same music. As in for the second game, there are a lot of varieties of music. Most of them I enjoy a lot, especially the boss musics. Like seriously, you should listen to them one day. So the second game wins this category. Now, we got the horror done, we got the ghost done, and the music done. I wonder what's next. It's bosses. Gosh, did you just get amnesia? No, I don't like that game anyways. Oh my gosh, you are such an idiot. Oh well, the next category is bosses. Now, the bosses between the two games, I must say, is really hard to choose. It's mainly because of how most of the bosses in all these games are really climatic. Now, as I started to think more and more about this, the second game actually made the bosses to a point where I can just say the second game wins this. And to be honest, I think the second game does win. I mean, there are only 4 bosses in the first game, in which they are fun to play and seem pretty challenging to get through. But the second game, not only does it involve fighting ghosts, but it involves fighting ghosts that are inside spiders, staircase, or even suits of armor. By the way, there's a huge spider on top of you. Oh, shut up. You're just making stuff up and trying to scare me. Rob? Get this spider off of me! Oh gosh, the two games are now a tie. Well, good thing we're not even done with the video. We still have like 3 more categories before I say which one is my favorite. Now let's move on with the boos. This will be interesting. Now this may seem weird that the boos have their own categories and are not mentioned with the ghosts, but in this case, the boos play a much more different roles than the ghosts. In the first game, in order to catch a boo, you have to meet up in a room in order to stupidly release the ghost. Then you are given the ability on your Game Boy Horror to locate in like every single room to find a boo. Then once you catch a boo, your game will be saved and then you move on. In rooms like Area 4, the health of these boos sometimes even get insane, like reaching 400. Heck, I know this is kind of off topic, but there's even a boss in the first game that relates among the category of boos. In the second game, it doesn't really have the same feeling. I mean, in order to catch a boo, you have to enter the dining room in order to start this boo business. Then you have to find some invisible object like all over the mansion, and once you do, the boos just get jumped around like 4 billion times, and then you just suck the boos. This game doesn't even go insane with the health of the boos. I mean, the most insane it can get is like around 50. But once you collect a certain amount of boos per mansion, you do get a bonus level, which I guess is okay, but not really fun to go through. So in honesty, the boos are much better in the first game. But Dad, the boos in Luigi's Mansion 3 Haunted Dreams are much better than the two combined. Wait, where the heck did you come from? I came from that Rob that was guarding the door. Hello. Well, get out of my house! Tell Mommy I say I love her! Thank goodness that's over. Back to what I was saying before my stupid so-called son interrupted me, I kinda have to say that the boos in Luigi's Mansion are much better than the second one. I mean, sure you do get a bonus level once you collect all the boos in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but I don't really have the same feeling as if I were to catch like 3 boos with 300 HP. So in honesty, I'm going to have to say that Luigi's Mansion wins a point. Okay, thank goodness. It's a bit balanced out. Now it's time to get on with the 6th category, which is the challenges. Now, I must say that both Luigi Mansion games share their own challenges. I mean, in the first game, it's not really just touch a button and then a ghost is gone. There are different ways of catching a ghost, and honestly, sometimes the way of catching the ghost can be really irritating. There are some puzzles throughout the game which I guess can increase the challenges throughout the game, but the puzzles just barely make up a percentage of the challenges because honestly there's not really any challenges in the game besides the portrait ghosts, which are considered under the category of ghosts. However, in the second game, there are some certain challenges throughout the game. There are even bonus levels if you catch all the ghosts in an area, which can be challenging. The game even offers some different techniques in order to defeat a ghost itself. There's even puzzles that you would have to figure out in order to access through areas that you would have to think more about. So honestly, I think the second game does a much better job with these challenges. Wait! What? You should give a point to the first game. I mean, look at all the challenges it offers. Really? Name all the challenges throughout the game and I will give a point to the first game. The challenges are, fighting a boo, I think fighting ghosts, it's... Do you accept defeat? Fine, I'll accept defeat. Okay, point goes to the second game. Now, it all comes down to this, the final category to determine which is the best Luigi's Mansion game in all history. Now, in honesty, the first game just only offers 1 mansion, the second game offers 5 mansions, and all those 5 mansions have their own ways of being unique. Now, in the first game, the mansion on the outside looks very spooky, including the inside of the mansion. There are many different rooms throughout the mansion, like the bathroom, the parlor, the kitchen, the bedroom, and many more. However, in the second game, the mansions don't really look spooky. I mean, it's probably because of the amount of detail that makes it look more of an adventure type of game rather than a spooky game. The ghosts in the second game don't even make the game much of a spooky game. In fact, the only spooky mansion throughout the whole game is Treacher's Mansion, which is honestly the best mansion in the whole game. But the first game just managed to have 1 mansion and still did a better job. But then again, the second mansion had 5 times to make each mansion spooky. And did it work? Well, kinda. I mean, Tetris Mansion managed to make the spooky parts the best, but the first 3 kinda got the hang of it. And as it for Secret Mines, well, it's just meh. As in for the first game, the mansion was all great. So, I'm sorry to say this, but the first one wins this category. So, Luigi Mansion wins this competition. Ha! Stupid kid. I never knew there would be an annoying kid that would be reviewing all this stuff. Well then, I will make sure that this kid will be destroyed. If it's the last thing I do.